Hey, true believers. Today we're going over X-Men Legends number 3. And I absolutely enjoyed reading this book. I'm happy to have just dived back into the original 5 X-Factor members, which were the original 5 X-Men. There was a time, for those of you that read the early or newer books, there was a time before Havoc and Polaris, and then of course the short-lived Krakoan X-Factor book, which we're not going to talk about that one. But here, what's happening is a lot of these old school X-Men writers are coming back and they're just kind of adding, I guess you could call it filler stories, or just adding upon what they've already established in their old arcs. So the way that I understand this book is, as you can see, Warren has already become the Archangel. Cameron Hodge, who was originally Angel's friend, or seemingly his friend, is now evil. And according to this, it says that, where is it? Editor's note. This story takes place before X-Factor number 43. So for those of us that have that issue, now we know where to put this in our long boxes. And before we dive into the book any further, let me find the creative team. I know it's somewhere in here. I don't remember where. So we'll just, oh, here it is. It's hiding from me. So this is writing, Louise Simonson. Art, Artine. See, they get it, adding us to the joke, was Walter Simonson. Coloring was Laura Martin. Lettering was John Workman. Editing was Mark Basso. And there's everyone else working on the book. This is called Transformations. And I'm glad that Walter Simonson here really gave Apocalypse that early look. You know, he's been reimagined many times. He's more buff, more wicked looking. Like, even though I don't like the Krakoan books, especially in the X-Men main book, I like the way that they draw him there. But here, this really goes back to when he was first introduced and how he manipulates and uses Cameron Hodge. And then for those of you that are more action figure collectors, and you have that Caliban Build-A-Figure wave, you can see where Caliban was at one point a member of the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. And, you know, prior to when he was just a Morlock, apparently, you know, creeping on Kitty Pryde. And so this issue, it really kind of focuses on, I think this was after the death of Madeline Pryor in X-Factor, and Scott and Jean now have, they found Nathan, who is Cable. He's a baby at this point, and Jean's struggling with having these memories of the Phoenix, having memories of Madeline Pryor. And then she says, you know, we have to figure out how to just take a moment and readjust to our new reality. And she goes, another piece of our new reality is our son, is Nathan, your son by Madeline, but genetically mine, linked with me empathically. Because for those of you that may have not read, what was that original story called? Inferno, not the horrible new one, but the old school one that Chris Claremont wrote. Madeline Pryor is shown that she was actually just a clone of Jean Grey for Mr. Sinister's machinations. And that's why Scott was so attracted to her, and why throughout Claremont's run, why he kept saying, wait, I see Jean, and why it caused a lot of issues in their marriage. And then, of course, why when Jean returned from the dead, why he ultimately up and left her. And then again, during this time, there was a character, sort of, called Ship. It was sentient. And it was originally a prisoner of Apocalypse's, but X-Factor freed it and became sort of a member as well as their headquarters. But nobody really knows what Ship really is. And that's kind of what this book alludes to, is where was Ship's origins? Because during, what was the name of that arc? It started in X-Factor 68. It wasn't Earthfall. I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, Ship essentially is destroyed. I didn't read a lot of the earlier X-Factor. I'm going back and doing so now and thoroughly enjoying it. But here, everyone thinks this is Apocalypse is doing that. He's hidden some sort of Trojan horse because he's done it before. But that's not so much the case. If you're curious, pick up the book. And what happens is Jean tries to put Nathan down for a nap in this scene. The ship just starts automatically changing and reconfiguring itself, slams the door on Jean, And she's like, Christopher's in there. He's crying. I've got to get in it. It won't budge. So right off the bat, we have stakes, we have action, we have drama. Everything that a good comic needs without people sitting around, doing cutesy, MySpacey, pop culture references. And that's most of what the Krakoa books are, is what it feels like. And I just love seeing Walter Simonson's artwork again. You can see that he's still on point and very much gives you that old 80s, 90s nostalgia feel with new technology. And the one scene that I particularly loved is when they give Cameron Hodge a new body to try to take out Archangel and X-Factor. And he's like, will this be of use? He's like, not the form I choose, but it has potential. And I just love all that Kirby crackle going on in the background. Very bright and vibrant colors. Just an awesome, awesome page. And again, so the story again revolves around this house, or this ship reconfiguring, and the ship saying, I can't stop it. As much as I want to, my cognizance, or my conscience, is separate and redundant from the main system. So he tries to help the best he can. And even though Warren is suffering with what he's become, because he, after he was freed from Apocalypse's control, he was still grasping hard with his humanity. And when you read the first few pages of him battling Cameron Hodges, you'll see what I'm talking about. It is quite a brutal scene. And of course it ends on a cliffhanger. We got Cameron Hodge versus X-Factor. And I can't wait to go to my comic shop and pick up issue 4 of X-Men Legacy, or X-Men Legends, should I say, issue 4. I'm enjoying this run. The only thing, it's sort of a blessing and a curse. Blessing from the side that it's nice to see old school X-writers come back and write the characters that they know and they love. Louise Simonson, Ann Nocenti, and Chris Claremont really set the tone for what the X-Men should be. That's why the animated series was based on so many of these arcs, because Claremont knew how to flesh them out and actually make it more interesting. Before Claremont and Len Wein, the book was floundering. And so to see, all these, alumni come back, Fabian Nikizia, Louise Simonson, Walter Simonson. I'm hoping that maybe we can see some by Claremont and some of the other, maybe some, not Rob Liefeld, what's his name? Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb? Yes, not Rob Loeb. But anyway, I just wish that instead, maybe, these teams got together and wrote something completely new, separate from Krakoa, and just kind of made it their own universe. Maybe call it the classic universe or something. But nonetheless, just to be able to go back to the old stories and get something fresh out of it, I'm okay with that. And so I can't really say it's a curse. For me, it's all a blessing, because just seeing the team like this again, exciting stuff all around. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little apocalypse bell next to subscribe, that way as we can continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.